another amazing day at fmtraining.tv. My name is Margaret. I will be your broadcast engineer for today. We're here to discuss the wonderful and amazing FileMaker platform in its many myriad of ways. There we go. We can say hello to Nick, who's wearing orange today. Nice shirt. Welcome again, everyone. Let's talk about our future schedule. We've got the UI UX for advanced developers today. We're going to be finishing out I say finishing. At least this 3D chunk will be done for the getting good looking layouts. And then Friday will be an open Claris platform Q&A, FileMaker Q&A with Richard and Jacob. Monday will be UI UX for advanced developers. So again, next week will be kind of weird. Nick will be split up a little bit. And then Tuesday will be pivot tables in FileMaker with Calvin. And then Wednesday and Thursday will be, again, UI UX for advanced developers with Nick. If you'd like to support the channel, we would greatly appreciate it. We have the FM Training annual subscription bundle with 100 plus hours of super high energy video training content with Richard, Nick, Jacob, Calvin. Pick a guy that you've seen in live stream. They're there. They're talking. And we cover a lot of topics there, which is great. Okay. With that being said, Nick, I'm ready to turn over to you. What are we doing today?
Today we're doing the last day of the how to make good looking layout, right? So unfortunately I have only 3 hours to cover the topic, so I needed to but I wanted also to give some explanation, how to, for yesterday it was all about accordion, how to reuse, so I did a little bit of the topic today. So I'm mixing, I'm doing a mix of today and yesterday. Okay, so how to reuse an object, right? So the reusability always be a problem, a challenge with FileMaker, but it's not only on FileMaker, it's on all platforms, reuse an object, right? So without rebuild the object, that's the point, right? Reuse the object and modify the object without difficulties, right? So I understand, for example, on other platforms like JavaScript or HTML, whatever, they have the ability to modify the object by modify a constant, and you change everything, right? If you, for example, when you have an accordion style, built-in accordion style, you can just modify the number of tabs, and in FileMaker, we don't have this ability, so we have to custom build. But we have some ways to make it more usable, more reusable. And yesterday I demonstrate that how to do that with accordion, with the toggle, toggle button, like the button bar that you can select as for example, for a status or whatever. So you can reuse the object. The idea is to always keep the name of the object as generic as possible. Generic in the sense of don't give a sense to the objects. Keep the objects for what it is. Don't give an object for what it do. Okay. So let me recap a little bit on this. So yesterday we did this type of object here. We did the accordion, right? So it is to keep the reusability possible, you always need to keep the object's name, because you understand that all those objects are based on names, okay? So when I say names, is on the object name, okay? Object name. So we have object that has names, right? This, what the object returns, this is a title of the button. This is the title of the button. This here is the name of the button. It's what it was you put here, right? It's the name of the button. For each button here, you have a name. The button bar is a combination of multiple objects. You have the bar itself, right? You have the bar, you have the divider, the segment and the icon. So there you can put a name on the bar, right? So you can put a name on the bar. Button bar 1. And then you have the name of the toggle, of the segments. Okay, we call that a segment. It's a segment. The divider is the bar between segments. And the icon is the icon. So you have the bar itself, is the whole thing, is this, right? This is the bar. Segments, divider, and optional an icon. So, and the activation and deactivation of a button to get a button, to get a segment, like active or inactive, a calculation here is made, but there's only one way to get the segment active or inactive by calculation, is to point to the name. The name is going to make the, is going to make the button active. Okay. So this is important to know. Same thing for the slide control. The slide control, when you want to use a button to go to a slide, you said go to object. We don't have a go to slide. Okay. So you need to go to an object. So you need to use, right, a go to object script step in order to go to a slide. We don't have go to slide. We have a go to object and that go to the slide. So the slide control has multiple slide, right? And for each slide, you need to name it in order to say go to that object. So you see, we have a lot of objects, that you can activate, deactivate, or go to by its name. So that's why it's important. You don't want to name the object for what it does, for what it is, but for what it does. Yeah. So you understand. So yes, okay, it's the opposite. You want to name the object for what it is. This is a slide. This is the accordion number 1. This is what it is. It does summary. So it activates, it displays summary, but it is the object number 1 of that slide, the slide number 1. So you need to put a name that is easily, retrievable. For example, here, if I say, because we have the tree, so you need to learn how to use the tree, because this will help you a lot, especially when you have a complex layout, right? So here you say, okay, I want all the objects slide, for example. Okay, so that the slide, all the object with slide that we have in the layout, right? I want my accordion. Okay, you type accordion. That's all what you have. So you can see here, we have 2 accordions. We have one here, and we have one here. Oh, I mean, you understand? So we have 2, 1 and 2. Okay. So that being said, when you name objects based on a number, you say this is slide 1, accordion 1. Let's go there. Let's go to another layer than this one. I played so much with this one, and it's half destroyed now. So let's go there. This one's cleaner, right? So here I have a slide here, and I have slide 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So this is what I have, right? So you understand now why it is easily reusable, because if I copy that object and I copy that object, right? and I go to another file, it will work. It will work at one condition and one only, right? So if you have the script that goes with it. So in each of my solution, I keep the script the same name and the same thing. So here, for example, to have these two things working, okay, I need two scripts. I need this script here. So I need the 590A, okay, and I need the 002 script. So let's say I have a brand new file, brand new, never used. I have a brand new file, and I go and I save this. Okay. Okay. So I have this layout here, and I want to copy that two objects. First, I need to copy the two. I need to copy that script, right? That script. And I need to copy that script, the 002. Slide navigation, okay? So when you do this, you paste those two, you see that those scripts are totally, completely universal. That means they are not context related. Why? Because I'm using script parameters. So I don't really care about the context here. And this one the same. Right? This is a little bit different because I will have to rename it, but you understand the problem here. So I'm copying that two scripts, and now I'm copying that two objects, paste there. Okay, nothing inside will work, right? But the slide will work, right? So that will work. I have no problem because I copy the scripts, right? That goes with it. So because the script here, it says go to slide 3, go to slide 4. So because I don't really care about the entity of what the slide is doing, because I'm naming this with numbers, right? I get the object reusable in a very, very simple way. Okay. So I show you that many times, but if you have embedded objects, okay. So let's remove those things inside. So this is a slide 1. Okay. No, that was a slide 2. Okay. So sometime, just something I thought about. Sometime you want to know where you are, right? So I'm using this trick that I'm going to share with you. Since I'm reusing my objects, okay, I'm reusing them, I have no clue here to know which slide this is, okay? I need to click here and know which one it is, okay? I have no clue which one is activated, okay? So recently, I got an idea. So let's blank it completely. Let's blank them. Okay. So we agree that object was coming from another solution, right? So let me. Okay. So it's blank. So I have no clue here which one is, which one it is. So recently I'm using that trick. Oops. Copy that style. I'm putting a text here, and I say slide 1. This is slide 1, and I'm pasting the style. This is slide 1. So I put that here. That's slide 1. So you say, okay, yes, but it's okay. I can see slide 1 here, right? But I don't want to see that. So I'm putting slide 2. This is slide 2. And this is slide 3. Right? So you say, yeah, that's cool, but I don't want to see that. So what you do, you go to hidden, you select the object, and you go to hidden object, and you put a 1 there. You can put true if you want. FileMaker will understand. True is 1, false is 0. Okay, so it's a little bit of let's educate ourselves a little bit. You know, false is 0. True is 1. But you can use either way, true, or 1, that's the same thing. So now you can see slide 1, 2. Oh, I might have to forget this. I put false. So if I put true, right, it's hidden. So hidden, hidden, hidden. So if I go there and I go layout mode, I'm in slide number 3. But while I'm building, I know which slide I'm in, right? So it's title. It's a little bit title. That's it. And I put that style the yellow to make sure that I understand that object won't be displayed, right? I put all my objects, all my hidden object like this. I put yellow like this. Then I can recognize them, and they are hidden, right? So they won't bother you in browse mode, right? So now you know that. Okay, so that's cool. So now, how to make embedded kind of slide control and how to name them, right? I know I did the demo many times, but I'm doing again. So I'm slide number 1, and I want another slide like this, right? I want to make sure that it's transparent, right? So I have a transparent, what's the name? Slide control here. And I have 3 panels. And I will have a button bar. So let's copy this style. So I have a button bar here. So here I have a panel. So I can show it by putting this a panel. I have 1 panel here, and I have 1 panel here. So inside the slide number 1, I have another one. In slide 1, I have another slide. So how am I going to name those 3 panels? I'm going to name it like this. Slide underscore 1.1. Because the parent of that slide is the slide number 1. And this one will be the slide number 1.1. Okay? And this one will be the slide 1.2. It's the second panel. And this one is going to be the slide 1.3, the third panel. So, right? 1.2 and 1.1, right? And here, I'm going to add my button here. So for example, here I have another trick that I want to show you. So if you go there and you position yourself and you create a button, you will create a button next to the one selected, okay? If you click here and you create one, you will create one at the end, right? What happens if I have a slide here but I have a button bar here, button, and I want to move this at the end. So you click and hold, and then you move. Click and hold, click and hold, and you can move it. So now it's easy. I have my button bar, and I want the button bar to activate, to play with those 1.1.2. So here, right? Oh, I forgot to copy the, yeah, but I can reuse the, oh, because it was a script step. Yeah, because it was a go-to layer. Yeah, yeah. So, okay, never mind. So what I can do, I can copy the style because I want the style of that button bar. I can duplicate this object, remove the button I don't need, right? Right. And I can just paste the style, remove the name that I don't know, I don't want, right? And then I have my button, and I can just change the name of this. This is .1. This is .2. 1.2. This is 1.3. And now, so this is slide 1, and here I have my button activated. So if I cannot see it but if I do this, right? If I do this, you can see that this 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? So that was a proof of concept, right? So proof of concept. So I am in the slide number 1. Let me remove the hidden state here. So I'm in the slide number 1, and I'm showing the 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, right? So you understand now, if I go to the slide number 2, and I want to add another one. So let's say I want to do the same on the slide number 2. You guessed it, right? You guessed it, that I'm going to name those, right? 2.3, 2.2, and 2.1. So this will be 2, 2, 2. And here I'm saying go to slide 2.1. Go to slide 2.2. Oops. And go to slide 2.3. So now I'm in slide 1, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. I'm in slide 2, 2.1, 2.2, 2.3. Right? Oh, this one. Let's make it working. Slide 2.2. So maybe I did a mistake on the name. Yep, forget the point. Okay. 2.2. So I'm in 1, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 2, 1.1, 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, because the parent is 2. So now what happened, if I want to do something crazy, right? Like this. So let's do something like this. To make it. So I have now, inside the slide 2.3, I have another slide here. So you guessed it. I will name this one 2.31, 2.32, and 2.33. Why? Is because the parent is 2.3. So all of them, right? All of them, you're going to point them to the right number, right? Okay. So let's rename it to. So this is the frame 2, 1. So now let's recap. I'm in slide 1, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. I'm on slide 2, 2.1, 2.2, 2.3. I'm in slide 2.3. I have the 2.3. What happened here? Oh. Okay, 2 and 3. Oh, I messed up completely. Okay. So I'm here in slide 2.3, and here I have the 2.3.1, 2.3.2, and 2.3.3. Okay. Why? So now you understand this cascading thing like this, because now that I have this system, right, I can play with the object tree. Slide 2. Okay, so now you have a total vision of what's happened. Let's say we don't see anything here. Okay, let's say we don't see anything. I know that in the slide number 2, I have this one, this one, this one. But on the slide number 3, I have this one. So you see, you have a vision of the layout without seeing the layouts. So you know which one it's in. You understand? So if I do 2.2.3, so now I have this. So if I say 2.1, I have this. So in 2.1, I know I have 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. So you have a vision, you have a graphical representation of what you have on the layout without seeing the layouts. So that's very easy to navigate through the object of the layouts. So when you have names that are very, when you give a name on an object of what it does, right? It's not the same. You lose this ability. So this you understand that you have a very usable object, really, because you don't have to take care of the script. The script's the same. The script's the same, and you have different options. You can refresh an object and refresh a poll, right? So you have options, right? So, and if you have a platform, you have this, right? So you can put on that script, you can make it very, very universal. Okay.
Real quick, we do actually have a question that popped up.
Okay.
Do you have an easy way to remember or cross-reference what content is on what slides?
I typically name my objects. if you want to know, you need to name your objects. But FileMaker is helping you. Let's learn. Let's learn a little bit. So I'm here, right? And so, and I want to go to that here. So I want to go to the slide 1, right? Here. And so you have, so here you have the, so what if the poll doesn't have name, right? So you can see here that FileMaker will return you the name of the poll, okay? So you can see, and you can look for that, right? Right? So when you say, okay, when you build something, you start knowing, by heart what you want. For example, let's say I have a very complicated layout, right? But everything is T01. Everything is on T01, right? Because everything that will be related will be on T01 something, A, B, C, D, okay. So let's say here I'm in the object tree and I said T01. So I have all my T01 here, and you can see, right, that you contextualize what inside, right, what inside the layout, right? When you use the object tree. So now you don't really, it doesn't really matter the name of the slide because you have the default name of the poll, for example, because most of the time you will have a poll, you will have a field, right? So let's say I want invoice. I want everything that invoice. Okay, invoice. Yeah, what I want, right? I want the slide 4 because this is where I have all the invoice stuff, right? Let's say I want estimate, right? Okay, estimate. So you have the slide 3, you have everything on the estimate, right? So this is, you can name, so that's why it's really important. The name of poll, everything you put here on the relationship is very important. Very, very important. The way you build this, okay? And the name of the field as well. The name of the field as well. They are very, very important. The way you name your fields, objects, relationships, scripts, it's really, really important because that is how you can help yourself. For example, when I go to the script here, right? So let's get something I built because this is not my work. Where I can go, I don't know. Where I can go. Yeah, I can go there. So this is one of my customer solution. Okay. So I have a project here, right? So the way you name your your objects is very important. For example, script here, for example, right? So here I have many scripts. So I want everything that is trigger. So I have all my triggers, all of them. But now, I want the trigger, but I want the on, for example, on layouts. This is on my layout, and I want the on layout enter. But I'm on layout slash, this is all my on layout enter, right? So I want the on objects save. This is all my scripts I have on objects save, right? See, this is how you name your stuff. And I want those, so you understand, I want all my pesos, for example. Okay, this is all the pesos. Or I want all my pickers. This is the picker card. It's a card that pops and I can select something, right? I name them picker, picker, picker always. So it's very easy to recognize something, right? The same on the fields, right? So when you name the fields, right? So let's take something I create myself, not something that comes from another, the users. Okay. So you see, you need to identify your fields to make sure that this always on the top. So it's double underscore for the parent key, and the one underscore for the single, for the foreign keys. And then you always need to put what it is first. Its first name is not name first. It's full name. It's full name reverse, right? So you need to name the thing its last name. You don't, if you understand, it's very important the way you name your stuff, right? So that's what I want to point out. And the same for the layouts. I want all my cards. This is all my cards. Card, I have some I start with C and I start with L sometimes. So it's important to name the thing, right? So let's close this. No question, so I can switch to another topic.
We do have questions, actually.
Okay.
So, how do you name the main slide when there are two of them beside each other?
Oh, very easy. I'll let you guess it. So let's guess it. I'll let you guys, let's do a quiz. How you will handle this, knowing that, let's say, so that's a good question. I like it. Thank you. Let's say I have two slides. Two. The same level. So how you handle this question? Dun, 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 dun. So I want to see. Nothing. Nobody. Give up.
A/B.
Exactly. So you say this is the 1A, and this is the 1B. That's it. 1A, 1B, right? So we can reorganize this to like, okay, the 1A here or 1B, okay, whatever. So I want to one slide. Let's put this one. Oh, we cannot do this? Oh, we can move we can do it from, and that's it. It will be, interesting. See? Oh, because I have the prompts. No, it's not possible. Huh? Interesting. So anyway, so yeah, so A and B, right? So this, but it's not the only way. That is not the only thing that I'm naming A and B. Okay. For example, let's say you can see here I'm doing it on the same layout. Look, for example, here, if I need to use I have two scripts here that do the same thing. They tie together, right? This is the slide number 2, for example, right? And this is and this is for the slide number 3, right? I tend, right? So I have multiple. I tend to do this. A, B, and C. right? Because you give yourself the clue that those three are tied together, right? You give you an indication. Oh, those three are really together. Or I'm using that trick for other things to give myself some freedom here. Let's say, for example, here I have a good example. Okay. Here, those is select item, period. This is select item without audit log. This is select item with a double click. This is select item multiple values. And this is select item in batch, right? So they are all select item stuff. And I want them to be, and I want them to be together. So I create them. I create the first, and then I had a variant of the first, and then I had another variant of the first, and another variant, and another variant. But I didn't want to, but I already had across all my solution, all the solution I built since the last 6 years, I have the 004 to select item. And I didn't want to change that. So what I've done, I said, okay, each time I'm adding a new one, let's say I have a new one. I have a new variant. I'm doing the same, but it's in demo, for example. Yeah. I have another one. I have another variant. So I'm still doing this, and I'm doing, okay, this is the E. That's it. No, this is the G. Right? So I keep going. So let's say, for example, I'm here, and I want, so like I did here, right? Like I do here, right? So, or let's say I want this. This is not a good example, but I want this here. I want to add multiple projects, not only one. So I have a variant of that script, right? And this is multiple projects. So I'm naming B, and I'm naming A, because I want to keep them together. I don't want to give them like 1,500 to be like 1,362, go to 1,500. I don't want that. I want to keep them together. It's important to get, you understand? So this is how I'm using it. So no other question? So I can.
We have one more. Sorry.
Okay. Oh, no, I like question. I want question.
What about slide 2 besides slide 1? Then a third slide within slide 1.
Don't understand, but you will repeat it, and I will.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about a slide 2 beside slide 1, and then a third slide within slide 1?
It will be the same. This will be slide A, right? Slide 1.A, and then you duplicate this on the side, and everything will be B inside this one. So that will be A, 1A, 1A.1, 1A. You understand? And that will be 1B.1, 1B. And here will be 1A, and here you will be the 1A.B. Yeah, I understand. But you look, in like 5 years that I'm using that technique, it never happened. Okay, to have something like this. Okay, to have slide by side. Why? Is because we don't have the real estate. So to avoid this, you have a new tab here, right? That, what I mean? But the question was good. But you need to use the 1B, 1C, 1, and then dot 1, and then the other one will be the 1, the slide underscore 1B dot 1.1.1.2.1.3, and so, but because it's not important the way it is named, it's just for you. It's just to have it's just to give you a name that you can reuse without putting what it is exactly, right? So I really want to focus on this. The only indication that I'm giving myself, and I don't call that a slide. I call that an accordion. Here, I call that a slide. Here, I call that an accordion. Just to give me because they're different, right? They do very distinct things. Okay. So about how to organize your stuff. Okay, as I say, so something important here. You need to avoid charging too much the layouts, right? So when you need to extend your layouts, right? And I did that, when you need extra room, what you need to do is to give yourself another layout to give you an extra room, okay? So when you can open the layout, or you can use a card like this, for example, okay? Like this, starting point. So let's go to the invoice. So here we have a lot of things, right? In this layout, right? We have dates. Okay. Oh, by the way, yeah, I was forgetting. I want to show, before I show you what I'm going to show you, I want to show you the dates. Okay. This is very cool. I demonstrated that many times, but I need to repeat that in that video, right? Then people will see that. They look like a date. They look like a date. When you click, you have the calendar, right? Okay. But they look really like a date. So let's say I have my other file, right? And here, so I'm a new layout. And here, I have a date. Date. Right? And I want to copy that object. So here we have many objects here, right? We have many objects. So I'm going to keep copying this and this. No, I'll just copy. No, okay. Let me copy. Let me keep it simple for now. And I'm going that, So I want those. Oh, by the way, here I have a button on top of this, but I don't want to copy the button. I want to copy everything that is underneath the button, but I don't want that button. I don't want it. So what you do, you hide the button, you hide it, you don't delete it, you don't move it, you hide it, and then now you can select this, and the button won't be selected. Okay, so it's just a trick that I can do. So here I have my object here. It's broken, but I have my object. And this is date. So I double click here. I have two boxes, right? I have two boxes. But here, why didn't, hold on. Normally you should have okay. I have three objects. Okay. So normally you should have it. I copied it wrong. I have three objects. I have I have a field date calendar. So I have a field, another field, and another field. Those three points to the same field. Right? Those three all points to the same field. Oh, this one, date. Okay. They all point to the same field. Date, okay? All of them. So you copy the object, you remap your free object to the same field, and then you have your date. Yeah, I have a script attached, but it's okay. Forget about the script. So I have a date, and it's formatted. So why this? So let me forget about this. So see, You copy the object, you paste, you remap, right? And you have the free object here. So the first here, it's a field that points to the date that is editable in browse mode. Those, it's a field pointing to the same, not editable in browse mode. This is a field not editable in browse mode. This one is editable in browse mode. And I attach a drop-down calendar. But here in that field, I want nothing to display. Nothing, you know. So I don't want that. I want nothing to display here, you know, in this field. I want absolutely nothing, even the little dot here, because, you know, because I could have just said this, you know, not a problem. I don't want that. You know, I don't want to see this, right? I don't want to see the dates. Right? So you put 1 here because we cannot put 0, right? And you put 200 on of 300, whatever. 200 is enough. On the padding on the left, not on the right, not on the top, not on the bottom, on the left, right? So everything will be shown there, right? Is there, but way on the other side, right? So now I have an editable field, a good-looking date without difficulties, without calculation. So how we format like this? It's a date, right? It's a date field. So you click here, and you go to the format here, and you say, yeah, this is the date, because it's a date field. And on the first, in here you say, yeah, I want to show only the number of the month, right? Because you can select whatever here you want. Then you say, I want nothing here, nothing here, nothing here, nothing here. So you say, oh, you show only this. And here you say, I want the name, the short name of the month, and I want a space, and I want the date, the full date, right? So you see, you have this. Or you can have a variant of this, and you say, yeah, that's cool, but I want like this. I want the full month. Or you say, yeah, that's cool, but I want a very, very small version of it, right? And I want just this, right? So you can play with this, right? So now you can even do something else, right? You say, yeah, that's cool, but I want what's the name? The name, you know, of the day, right? I want the name of the day. So how you do this? You put this and you change the nature of this, you know. So here you remove this and this. You remove the padding that I put on top because I want the thing to be because I wanted to add this here. So I put a padding. I'm going to remove that padding. I'm going to put 4. Then I can put that down. Then I can duplicate this always to the date. And I said, I want the bottom. I want the top of this. I want to close the top. Do something like this. And now, right? You say red, and you say 10, and you say, I want the name of the day, right? And I want this. You can remove a little bit of this. Right? So, like this, so you can play a little bit. So remove this, right? Put that down. You have to play a little bit with this. Okay? You build your own objects. So you can do this 0, 0 and put a little bit more. Okay, so you have it, right? So if you want to include the, you know, maybe this is too big. We can put 8 like this one. So if you want to include the name of the field inside, you do like this. Okay, so you have it, right? Looks awkward with the name on top like this, but it's okay. Because it's not squared anymore, right? It's not square anymore. So, but you can play with this, right? So this is how you use this technique of using the format of the field, right? And you still have, you know, you still have this. If you want, you can duplicate, and you can go and put that here, and then you still have the ability to edit it, right? And because this is a field, so you have a on focus, right? You have an on-focus state here in focus, and you say in focus you want a blue borders, right? So that's cool. So that's how you do good-looking thinking, right? So you use this technique here. So you see, it's very aligned like this. So they all look like the same. So here you have invoice, due, paid. I don't even need to put date because it's a date by itself. You show by the way it looks, how it looks, show the people this is a date. You don't need to explain. You don't need to put date. So it's a invoice. It's a date of the invoice. It's a due date, pay date. Okay. And here you say pay in 302 days, right? So you use the same kind of looking, right, to make sure that you have a vision like this one, tuk, like this, and they're all together. Right? So this is how you do this objects stuff like this. So the only thing, the next thing that I want to show you is, before we go, I wanted to show you something here. I plan to show you this, but I'm going to have next week. I'm going to have, this is all about sorting and it's all about status. So how to build something like this, right? And to make it reusable, right? So, but it will be part of the next week webinar on the sorting, right? Because I think it's belonged to sort. So that's why I'm moving what I want to talk today to next week, right? So, but I want to show you something here that is interesting. So let's open a new window here and go to that layout, invoice, and go to the invoice, the old one. In that layout, this was a portal within a popover. Okay, so it looks very bad. It behaves very bad, and because we didn't have the choice back in the day, right? New, so you do everything, you know. So to get the new, and when you click outside, not creating it, it was very complicated because you had, on object exits, right? Trigger and the cancel button, the done button, and like, okay, it was to build. It was very complicated, and it wasn't working well. You have a search capability, but within a portal, right? So, and it doesn't look good. this doesn't look good. It doesn't make any sense to have this in the popover, but we didn't have a choice. And to be honest with you, I built it in a starter solution, and a starting point, we implemented the same way, but it was with FileMaker 12, and it was cool at that time, but it's not anymore. So with what we can replace this? By this, right? So this is how we said good looking, okay? So because this is not a good looking. It's not a good looking, it's not a good behavior, right? It's very, very hard to implement, right? Very hard to implement the way it is. It's full of triggers and stuff like that. When you extend, like I was saying, when you extend your layout with another layout. So, for example, here, that object, look how many objects we have in this. Look. We have a slide. We have border with buttons. Here we have another slide with buttons, with fields. So all of this inside a popover. So pretty much it is worth a creation of a layout to have those things. And even though here we build in 2 layouts, so that's all of this is in 2 layouts, not only 1. And we have all these piece of bleep globals. It's madness. Okay. Here we open a new window in a layout which is a list view. So I can have a filter, right? And I can sort, right? I can select multiple at once. Here, when you click here, you say click, it's added. Add, click, it's added. Right? So here you click, you say, I want this one, this one, this one, and this one, and you add the product, and boom, they all add at once. Okay. So that means you can go there, say, I want this one, this one, this one, this one, and say, oh, no, I don't want it. Forget about it. Boom. Right. So here, it's a list view, it's a layout in list view with sub-summary, with a true search capability, not a search within a portal. It's a search within a layout, right? And here we have the ability to create a new object, right? Here we have the same ability to create a new object, but we have a layout for that, right? So it's another layout. And if I cancel, I cancel. And I have a message saying, okay, do you want to cancel? Yes. Right? So it's way better to drop the popover, right? And to create a layout. So with the cursor window that I explained last week. So go to the cursor window webinar and learn about cursor window, because it's very, very changed everything. So the popovers I'm using for very few things, very limited, very limited. So like this, it's a popover. Like this, it's a popover, right? But I'm not putting, crazy things in the popover, right? I'm not, I'm going to put like, I don't know if I have an example here, but sometime I have first name, last, I have a thing combined. I don't have an example here, but, on the popovers, avoid first, avoid data entry in popovers. Avoid it. Okay. This is I said avoid. I don't say don't do it. Avoid is if you can make something different, is better. If you have two free fields, that's it. But if you have something like this, and if you need to have an interaction like this, done, cancel, if you click outside, okay, use the cursor window. If you just click and click, use a popover or click. So here, for example, I have an interaction, but very, very limited, right? So I click here, and I said apply, which is not the same than create, you know. So I have multiple interactions here. I can clear, right? But it's very specific and apply, right? And if you click outside, if I said this, if you click outside, I have a very limited interaction. Very limited, boom, that's it. So it's limited. When you click and you click outside, and the action of clicking outside the popover is cleaning and forgetting, canceling. You just click and you have very few things, like a set of variable. But if you go there, right, and you say, you click outside, look at this. Look at this. It's madness. Freeze window, set field, you know, perform scripts, go to object, another perform script. It's way too much, right? It's way too much. Don't do this. You need to limit your stuff. So popovers on a limited way. It's never been meant to be an extension of a layout. That is an extension of a layout. This is the true extension of a layout, right? So if we don't have any question, I hope we do.
Let me see. We have one from Dimok real quick before we call it today, I think. When do we need to refresh objects and portals and why?
Okay, can you just repeat because
No, you're good. When do we need to refresh objects or portals and why?
Okay, so pretty much we have multiple refresh stuff, you know. So I like the question, and I have a good demo, an extra demo if you want, if you guys want to stay a little bit more. You only have refresh objects, you have refresh portals, and we have refresh window. Okay, so we have, you know, refresh objects. We need that pretty much when you want to refresh. You want an object to change while the record is not committed, right? So pretty much when you change a variable, when your object is based on the variable, the name, you know, what the object display is based on the variable, or it's based on the uncommitted records, right? So you want something to change, you need a refresh object, right? You need it. Refresh portal, it's to refresh when you have a filter on the portal. Most of the time, and I would say all the time, you need to refresh the portal. Refresh object won't refresh a portal, right? So object will refresh the name of a button, an hidden states based on the variable, or based on a related record, or you know, something like this. It's difficult to say when you need it because it's vast. It's vast. What I can say is when you have when you have a hidden states based on a variable, or if you have a name based on a variable, or if you have a some anything that is based on the calculation that is not committed, right? That is not saved, to be honest, to be more accurate. The refresh portal, it needs to be when you have a filter on a portal, you refresh the portal. Refresh window will refresh all, but this is the atomic bomb, and that's why we, Claris built this one and this one, because this will refresh this, but this is it's a big event when you refresh a window. It's not small, and they build that especially for WebDirect and FileMaker Go. It's better to use this. So now I have a good refresh object scripts. And you say, Nick, how you could have a loop, right, within an object? So I have a refresh object scripts that refresh everything. Refresh portal and objects and window, right? So how I'm doing this, So why this? So I have a great example here. Let's go to when I add a contact, no, here. When I add a contact here, right? I have a counter. So let's create a new. I have a counter, right? I have the button here. I have this button here. I have this green stuff here that need to be refreshed. I have this button needs to be refreshed. Why then? And I have plenty of stuff here that need to be refreshed. Why? It's because it's all based on a variable. Everything based on this variable, right? So that's why in my script, I need this. Right? I need to refresh objects. But I need multiple objects to be refreshed, right? I want multiple objects to be refreshed. And I didn't want to do something like this. So I'm refreshing objects so that my script needs to know what you will refresh objects. Okay, cool. I want to refresh the object that name validates, selected only, clear selection, selected counter, and selection check. I want those objects to be refreshed. I want that list of objects to be refreshed. So I'm performing a script named 007. When the first parameter will be objects, it will trigger this, okay? Gather the object list. So I have an object list, right? This is my object list. I want to refresh that object, that object, that object, that object, and that object, right? But as I said, I didn't want to do refresh objects. This one. I didn't want to have this. Duplicate, refresh object. And I didn't want to group them neither. Because you know that when you want to refresh multiple objects, you just have to, let's go to my, here. Let's say I want to refresh a group of objects. I group them, I name them, I name it, I name the group, and I refresh the group. That works. But there's a problem. If I ungroup it, I'll lose the name. The name is gone. So I break my stuff. I break my refresh. Right? So I don't do the grouping. So what I do instead, right? It says, okay, I have a list of objects, and I said this. So let's debug this. Click. So I said, perform this, and it's an object, get the list. So now I have the list of objects. This is my list. And I said, I count, refresh the first object, refresh the second object, refresh the third object, refresh, refresh, refresh. Up. And then here I have an error. So that means the list is done. I have an error. Why? Because it's, it didn't, the last object I tried to refresh get an error because it didn't exist. Because I'm pretty sure that the counter should be 5 or 6. There's 6. So that means my list has 5 names. And if I try the 6, that means it refresh, it tried the first, the second, the third, and the fourth, and the fifth. And now I don't have any names because the 6, I don't have 6 in my list. So I get an error. So that's it. So if I know if there's an error, that means it's gone, it's done, right? So that's a good way to end up a loop. When you say, okay, when the last has an error, got rid of it. So that is pretty new. I'm doing this because it works all the time. I don't even know. I don't need to tell. First of all, it's a security. Those pieces that goes wild sometime. When you have a loop that never ends and create records. You avoid that with this. You avoid completely because you have an error, and that is, that's it's a good way to handle the end of loop. So the advantage of this technique here is that I don't have multiple refreshes, and I can do 2 refresh, 5, 10, 15. Just I need to put the name of the objects, right? So yeah, that was an extension of 10 minutes, so we can go, I think.
Thank you very much, Nick. We greatly appreciate the thorough answers. With that being said, thank you everyone for coming. I'm going to run the credits.
Okay, bye-bye.
We'll see you Monday, Nick. Bye.
See you Monday.
Got a report of an individual up here who may be a FileMaker license. Well, it's potentially expired. Look at the back of that car right there. Looks like the FileMaker license has expired. Sir, I need you to step out of the vehicle. Sir, step out of the vehicle. Sir!